Sup tubers, it's Pat, Ground Zero Salem. Right now I'm listening to a little VCLT score from Sir Eric Bauer, cassette soundtrack to Codename the Soldier. The guy who made it, the director's name is Klaus Kinski. I'm not the biggest cinephile, so if I fuck that up, I'm sorry, Eric. But this is awesome. So Tangerine Dream did the score, real mellow, giving it a couple of spins in the car, nice change of pace, you know, kind of, I don't know if this qualifies as ambient or not, an electronic soundscapes score, awesome. So, I wanted to follow up my Boston video of newer bands with a few older bands. Most of these bands, I think, played together in the late 80s, mid to late 80s up until like maybe 90, 91. We got a bunch of metal, some metallic hardcore, all kind of on each other's thanks list, that kind of thing. I figured I'd start this off right with a bang with Wargasm, Why Play Around. This is a fucking awesome record. I've had this forever. I bought this in Boston the first time I lived here in the late 90s. It's on Profile Rock Hotel. This was the Cro-Mags and Leeways and Murphy's Law's label. Kind of renowned for being a scumbag. Shitty dude ran this, apparently. If you believe what autobiographies from members of the Cro-Mags tell you, anyway. But this is great pummeling mid-paced thrash metal. Never speeds up too much. It's always powerful. It's got punishing double bass all over it. Powerful kind of bellowing vocals. Produced really well. All the instruments are super clear in the mix. It's nice and catchy.
Nothingness, no one will see. Terminate the sky. Deadly pearl, glowing gray. Nothing left to die. War after war in the homelands. Bomb versus bomb in the sky. Curse upon the earth itself. Planet, you can't die. Die.
Parts of it kind of harken to the first Carnivore record in a weird way, but it doesn't really sound like that. It's just what I think of automatically off the top of my head. Really, really awesome stuff. I also have this great CD compilation of their demos. This is a Clown Fighting the Devil. Satan Stole My Lunch Money. And it has that's the name of the CD. That's the name of one of the demos on it. It also has the Your Dog's Teeth demo, Spirit and Decay demo, and the Gasmit demo. But yeah, it's on Storm Spell. It's a cool looking CD there. Nice glossy insert. I do believe that Ted from the Crypt is re-releasing some Wargasm stuff, or already has. So get onto the Dark Symphony's website and check that out. Maybe that stuff's already out. I can't remember. Cool flyers. Good stuff. If you're into thrash, good heavy thrash, East Coast thrash, can't go wrong. And we got this. This is some Executioner. In the Name of Metal. There's the back. This is on New Renaissance, which was a cool label. Sort of. I think they also ripped off their bands a lot. But I mean, Dream Death was on there, Necrophagia was on there. I believe Iron Christ, who are an underrated crossover band, three-piece, were on there. I gave these a bunch of these a respin for an hour because I hadn't listened to a lot of this stuff in years. See your insert there. A little thrash collage, of course. This is actually way less thrash metal than I remember it. It has some similarities to Motorhead and GBH. It's kind of more rockin'. Pretty rough recording in a good way for me, you know. Yeah, a lot more rock and roll bass than I remember, which is kind of a pleasant surprise, you know.
Well, that's fucking on. Everyone's a killing ground. The prisoners are ready, want to turn it off. Got heads up, they want to go home. Well, they just don't understand. Who will stay like in the grave? But they just don't want to know. But all the structure will change.
But yeah, really good stuff. I'm not sure if it was the record preceding this or after this, but Seth Putnam from Anal Cunt played, I want to say, guitar in this band. It was, I think, the first band he was in. So, cool. These all should be accompanied by sound clips unless I have some kind of minor disaster with my editing, so you should hear that. We got Straw Dogs after that. This is a post-FU's band. We Are Not Amused is the name of the record. Cover. This is one of those fun, hey, it comes with bonus stuff, used records that I picked up. I think I picked this up in Salem at the store here, but you have the whole hype sheet. They used to be a hardcore band, now they're just as good as Metallica, you know, that kind of thing. Little promo photo even. How about that? Music, pretty good. You know, it's not thrash either. It's kind of a mix of like 80s hard rock, maybe early 80s straight up metal with more melodic side of hardcore punk. Vocals almost remind me of Youth Brigade, California Youth Brigade, not DC Youth Brigade, and like maybe a little bit of Danzig. There's some songs that almost veer off into cock rock territory. Really good guitar work, lead work from Steve Martin. Steve Martin played guitar in Agnostic Front on Liberty and Justice for, so you know that guy's a shredder. So not bad, worth a spin. See it cheap somewhere, pick it up. Post-Mortem, Coroner's Office. These guys were from the suburbs somewhere. I want to say Billerica or Belmont, somewhere with a B. I forget. They had re-released albums that. Maybe I'll post them when I post the song link. That they have they had 2 or 3 records, maybe 2 LPs and an EP, and an album called Festival of Fun, I want to say too. And that cover art always turned me off because it just looked weird to me, really weird cartoony cover art. So this is the original cover art, much more appropriate. And this is good, thrashy, verging on crossover kind of stuff. Deeper shouted vocals, good mix of tempo changes. When they speed it up, it sounds like it's gonna fall apart. I don't know, just keep rotating. It's good. This is also on New Renaissance. So New Renaissance, I'd love to do a New Renaissance update, but I don't think I have enough by that label. Thrash Collage here, you'll note there's the nice thing about this tape that Eric gave me is there's all these bits from the movie woven in, and it's a cool, gives it a cool vibe. Back to Post-Mortem anyway. This is not like fun pictures of the band hanging out. It's like a lot of weird shit. There's this eyeball guy here. There's just random words. I am 65 years old and not feeling well. But yeah, Post-Mortem, fucking pretty good stuff. You know, good messy thrashy crossover.
Started, I was staring at my touch to burn. It's a technical view, now it's time to learn. With a force life attack, death is in the air. You want to scream, but you can't, not until I'm there. Heart is beating faster. You're ready to die. Death is creeping nearer. You're ready to die.
Kind of verging more into hardcore territory with the next couple. Wrecking Crew, Balance of Terror. I'm not sure if they got that from DRI or not. These guys were kind of Boston's answer to Agnostic Front and the Cro-Mags. I think they unfairly get called like a ripoff of Agnostic Front. I think they had a little bit more originality to offer than that. That's just my opinion. Might be biased because I live here, but I think they had a little bit more of a straight up punk kind of feel, maybe a little bit more from the UK, slightly, and a little bit more metal too at the same time. But vocally they're very similar. Great, like, you know, galloping tight kind of crossover stuff. They had a spiritual advisor, which was a thing in those days in hardcore. I don't know what that's all about. As many times as I've mentioned Panzer Bastard, I also need to mention that Wrecking Crew's bassist is Keith Bennett, who is the main songwriter and bassist in Panzer Bastard. It's been his baby for the past 10 years or so now. This came out on Hawker Records. I haven't shown the vinyl on a single one of these. Sorry, man, you'll just have to guess what those labels look like. But this is worth showing. This was a subsidiary of Roadrunner. They put out a lot of that stuff. They were almost like the combat core of Roadrunner. They put out all New York hardcore stuff, Token Entry. I'm trying to remember what else. I think Rest in Pieces as well. It was Howie Abrams, I think, who is the Roadrunner guy that signed like Life of Agony and Biohazard. He was a New York dude. Memory serves. Hopefully it does. I don't look like a dumbass. Oh, by the way, last update. That wasn't Jay Strongbow on that cover. Nope, it was Wahoo McDaniel. I feel like such a fucking wrestling pose dog. Thanks, Ben, for bringing that to my attention. Fucking moron. Me, not Ben. Ben's on point. Slapshot, Sudden Death Overtime. I picked this. This is probably, out of their classic records, the most shreddy, metallic one. And man, you want to talk about vitriol lyrically. Choke is pulling no fucking punches on this in the best way possible.
Fireworker, a school thugger who likes to brand the weak. Fireworker, a false promise to understand me a sing. Fireworker, you're preaching with them that you don't know at all. Fireworker, we're just waiting for you right on the ball. Ali Selassie is a fake. Father, you better make no mistake. Christianity fucks over its people on vanity. Let's see how much money we can make.
I mean, everybody probably has heard of, not everybody, but people into hardcore and punk and stuff have probably at least heard of Punk's Dead, You're Next. You talk about anarchy. You wouldn't last 1 minute when the real thing comes. Or you want to talk about anarchy, I'll show you some. You wouldn't last 1 minute when the real thing comes. Venomous stuff. Firewalker, attacking religion from all sides. Nation of Hate, just talking about how everybody hates each other in America. I think there's a diss on Youth of Today and all of them in this. Something to Prove, that's that one. And Aaron, Metal Theologian, yo, I think in one of your videos a little while back you said no band should ever cover White Rabbit. Afraid I'm gonna have to disagree, my friend.
One pill makes you nervous, and one pill makes you fall. And the ones that you've been taking won't do you any good at all. Go ask Alice, she's just hit the wall. Now you said you could take it. Yeah, you said many things, but when your habit does all the talking, yeah, you'd say anything. You could ask Alice, but I think she's gone.
Militant straight edge, at least militant straight edge singer in a band, doing his own version, heavy version of White Rabbit and changing it into Use Your Head. Instead of whatever the lyrics are, I don't remember, for White Rabbit. Dude, their cover is terribly awesome. It's fucking great. It's a great cover with those sandpaper vocals. And and by the way, I'm drinking a Polar orange vanilla seltzer right now. It's good. Going down, it just kind of tastes like seltzer, and I call bullshit on most people that say that seltzer really tastes like anything, but it's the aftertaste, it's the applause that really, it's got a little bit of orange rind in it, and just I don't know, maybe I'm just imagining the vanilla, but I feel like it's there. Yeah, that's good. Anyway, move on to a couple 7-inches here. This is a weird one. Maelstrom. It's a 3-song EP, single on Tang. This is from a very dicey era, and I'm speaking of the funk metal beginnings when Red Hot Chili Peppers were kind of blowing up. erupting from the underground of LA and influencing metal bands. Thankfully, this does not have slap bass all over it, and really when this band actually starts to thrash, they're incredibly tight. But there is some embarrassing Caucasian metalhead trying to be like a rapper kind of thing. There's like a bad intro that's like the Warzone intro, but like really embarrassing. You know, it's cool and charming in Warzone. We're like, yo, what's up? Does not pull that off as well. The real high point of this is actually a cover, and why I've spun this so much. Tang Records, it's a 45. It's a cover of Who Are You by Void. And I mean, that's an amazing song, but their version of it is just another paint peeling fucking ripper, man. It is so good. I'll put it up, splice it into the vid. But man, yeah, that's why I was like, oh yeah, I gotta pull out that Maelstrom record. I actually listened to the two originals on this for like more or less all the way through, more or less for the first time like an hour ago, so I knew what I was talking about a little bit when I was gonna describe the music, because I think I gave them all like a second or two and was like nah, and just played the Void cover because it's so rad. And then rounding things out, we have Psycho. Psycho are fucking great. They still play. They play all the time. Like sometimes several times a week, I feel like, in Massachusetts. They're a band that started out as a nasty American hardcore. Well, of course they were American. They're from Boston. They started out as a hardcore band from here, and were backing. Did an album as Bulge, the backing band for G.G. Allen. Incredibly prolific, and somewhere late 80s, early 90s, they became a grind band. They had a big shift in style and the type of genre they were playing, and shamefully I don't have more of the grind stuff. I only have a couple of splits here, but the grind shit is fucking awesome, as is the hardcore stuff. This is a CD put out on Welfare Records that is this complete studio recordings, 82 to 86. It's great. The early stuff is pretty rough around the edges, up until the 8-song EP. They're starting to kind of get a little tighter. The Hosebags from Hell record, I think it's their first LP, is tight as a drum, fast as hell, hardcore punk, and it's great. Nice little CD. That's the cover art for the 8-song EP. I have that as well, but don't really need to show it off. Cool little insert with all kinds of flyers. I was trying to find any interesting bands of note that they played with. They played with the Descendants once, which must have been interesting. And then I got these splits here. These are both on Action Records, I think. And Action was a Boston-based label. I'm not sure if Charlie Infection, the drummer, had something to do with it or not. He also ran Fudgeworthy Records. If you remember, when I was going through my 7-inch boxes, I came across a crazy grind band called Jesus Crust, which is actually all members of Psycho and one guy that was an original member of that band Post-Mortem that I just mentioned, FYI. But anyway, he ran Fudgeworthy. I'm not sure if he ran Action 2 or if that was somebody else, but I love this cover art with this maniac priest with the chainsaw and the pile of bodies. Ugh. I remember seeing this in a Relapse catalog when they were still photocopied, and I'd get them just sent to my house. On the flip, we've got Agathocles with Hail to Japan. There's Agathocles coming up again. This is a great fucking grind record. will show this vinyl because it's actually colored. It's got that, it's almost that Seraphic Decay gray marble. Psycho side there. Fucking so cool. Their music's, you know, not hyper fast grind. It's sort of more of a death grind with a good basic 3-chord punk undercurrent. Pretty much the same style on the Split with Blood, but I'll show that too. This is color cover. Again, like, that's cool. That's some cool ass shit, man. And we got Blood on the other side. Awesome German grind. I've showed a couple of their LPs, or one of their LPs before. One of my What's in the Box updates. Yeah. This great artwork. This almost looks like, what's his name? Gothier? I'm not sure if it is. He did a lot of artwork for The Accused. It might just be a similar style. I don't know. Cool. Such a cool little soundtrack going. And it sounds good, Eric. I like how Johnny, no matter what kind of crazy grind they were playing, he always just looked like a dude from the Ramones. It's awesome. SSD shirt. Fucking love this band, man. It's great. So yeah, that's not everything that was going on in Boston at the time, I'm sure. I just wanted to showcase my little meager group of Boston metal, thrash, crossover, hardcore-ish kind of records that I had. So yeah, that's about it, you know. Everybody let me know what you think, comment, do all that good stuff. Well, I've got a few minutes left on my phone. I had this horrible experiment last month where I was like, okay, this YouTubing thing has got me buying way too much music because I watched tons of videos. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get that artificial brain, you know, I gotta get that extremity, blah, blah. So I cut myself off successfully for maybe 3.5 weeks before I buckled and bought a few things. But now the month is up and I actually got paid on the 1st. And the floodgates have fucking opened. I did a huge order at Bind Room, first thing. Big order from 20 Buck Spin, tons of Discog shit. So I feel like the rest of the summer I'm just going to be doing collection updates because that's all I'll have time for. It's good. I'm going to finish up the 7 inches too. But yeah, you can look forward to me babbling incoherently and giving inaccurate reviews of stuff that people have been talking about for 3 or 4 months. So that should be exciting. All right, hit me up. Let me know what you think. Have a good weekend, everybody. Peace.